We are now on the stream. And
play music.
Hi.
Hey, Jay.
Hi.
Hey, Jay. Hi.
hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Doctor.
This is madness. This is.
Mommy and Daddy are yelling again.
What's an Eiffel Tower, stupid?
Play with my tits.
No, fuck your opening.
Who's Bunghole Bunny?
It's really bad idea not to talk about those things, not to really have some kind of dialogue about what's going on.
Whatever shall we talk about?
Hi, and welcome to Pokin It with the Stick podcast for September 23rd, 2017. And we are minus Big Fatty again because apparently he is homeless. And
Aww.
so we're going to start a GoFundMe so that he can get a new home. Because apparently he doesn't have one. He just goes from city to city jet setting. So
He must have got washed out in the hurricane. And
that might be it.
he got washed out and he's at the Parliament Resort.
Oh my God, can you imagine the J-Lube made out of that?
I was going to say, I can imagine somebody can be found taken astray.
Right?
What was that?
Somebody can be found who will take an astray.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
No, VV. The Hurricane Irma did not flood the Fat Cave.
No.
Around because Big Fatty's not here again. He had told us way ahead of time that he was not going to be. He wasn't going to be here until later on in October.
Yeah, so
that was a while ago.
He's down at the horror hotel.
Oh, it's a big weekend down there.
Yeah, big leather weekend.
No, isn't it communion?
No, isn't that a leather weekend? I don't know.
Is that where they dress up as altar boys?
No, they just get on their knees. very, very scantily clad. So, I know.
The special lace weekend.
Yeah.
I'll be there in 2 weeks for the lend a friend a hand time.
Good for you.
A little like Big Brother.
What? Kind of like, yeah. What's today? The 23rd?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is the First Coast Leather of Jacksonville, Florida. What? They're all dressing up as superheroes. Remember, he said it on his show this week.
Oh.
Coast Leather of Jacksonville, Florida. Why am I repeating?
That's terrifying.
Did you hear me repeat?
No, well, I'm trying to bring up the page.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh,
why am I repeating?
Hold on. Okay, did it go away now?
I blame it on the meds.
No, I'm trying to get to the page live stream so I can post in the chat room.
It's there.
Yeah, but it's not, the picture isn't showing up. I'm trying to get to the page. The video itself is not showing up on the page. I don't know why, but I'm sure it's supposed to be there, but whatever.
It just isn't.
Yeah, it's just everything is wrong with me today, so I'm just not even going to bother.
No, I'm not even going to go there because you did do a lot. The fence was successful.
Ooh.
Hey, Gavin, does Fort Trough ever send out discount codes?
I don't know.
I believe they do. You have to be on their mailing list.
Yeah, I'm not on their mailing list.
Yeah, you have to get on their mailing list or just type it in. Jim, do you know that the second largest Georgia is Jacksonville? Am I reading that right?
I think it's in reverse. The second largest Jacksonville is in Georgia, I think is what they're saying.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
So you have a fence and it was successful. Does that mean that the neighbors are less easily offended?
No, it's not. Yeah. It's not up. I was just cutting. I just cut all the rings today.
He's refitting the fence with new panels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's still going to be like see-through. So
yeah, but it's really nice. I do. Were you here last week?
Me?
Let me find real fast a picture of the
Oh,
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Oh,
yeah, I know it's on my page somewhere.
hold on. How was your week, DJ? I mean, I heard it on your show, but let's hear it again.
My week was pretty okay. We had a long weekend last weekend. We went to the Naughty Boy camp and spent some time with Baron Frosty and Dr. P.
Yeah.
And we had a family event. We went to my brother's prom night baby's wedding.
Right.
That was interesting. Well, let's just say I would rather have spent more time at the Naughty Boy camp because the only reason my brother was really there was for the open bar.
Nice. Well, I will say one thing. You posted pictures of your costumes, your Halloween costumes, and you looked great. Now you
Thank
were
you.
what? You were fairies?
Well, you could say
Sort of.
hubby called us.
Guys looked cute.
Thank you. Hubby called us naughty woodland nymphs in the spirit of being in the outdoors.
Who called you that?
My husband and Billy called our costumes woodland nymphs.
Woodland nymphs. Okay. I looked. I was
Mm.
like, did you have wings on the back?
No, we didn't. Although I'm sure if he'd been given more time, he probably would have.
No, you guys looked great.
Thank you.
Beryl,
And,
Beryl, Beryl Virgo, that's not a picture of what I've done. That's what I'm hoping it looks like.
That's the Better Homes and Gardens magazine.
Yes, it is. Interest. But you know what? I think it's going to come out good.
Yeah, me too.
Now, has it been a while since you've redone the fence?
Yeah, I built it. The whole fence is built. I built by hand
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago. So
Oh.
the wood is kind of warped, and
Not that bad.
yeah, it needed to go.
So does the living room carpet, and that's older.
Yeah.
I want to come in.
Well,
With
Jim, if you'd
giant-
only use the
Go ahead.
if you'd only use the catheter at home.
Yeah, right.
Right.
No, I'd like to come in, rip up the carpet, get a giant grinder, and just grind down the cement to a nice polish, stain it,
No.
do something.
You want to do one of those like 50s era like terracotta floors or whatever it is?
Are you trying to say terrazzo with the little?
Terrazzo, yeah.
I would like that, but I don't. No, they're a pain in the ass. They really are.
I have a lot of memories of classrooms as a kid that had those designs.
Yeah, I would not mind. I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
That's your project. You take care of that.
Yeah, because it's nothing. Because
I
all
have
all
nothing-
it involves me doing is making a phone call, making a phone call and signing a check.
You and I, everything we've looked at that you liked, I agreed on. So you can even pick whatever the fuck you want to put down.
All right.
So.
Yes, but are you specific enough that when you have home projects, you know what construction company based on the kind of guys they send?
Well, see. I wish you had the option of going there and checking out the crews and handpicking the men you would like to come do your house.
Right. I'm like, I only want Greeks coming.
Are they big up by you? I mean, big laborers up your way.
Just doing the road work, I think.
Greeks?
You caught me. I don't know if they're Greeks. No,
They
the
just
majority of the handy guys, the blue collar guys, are the ones I see on the road that are making me late to work.
oh god.
They're Greekish.
Greekish. Oh, okay, Greekish. Okay.
In other words, they're 5 o'clock shadow at 3 o'clock at 6 o'clock in the morning, and
They smell like feta, at breakfast time.
well, let's not go there.
Right. Nice. Greek Mexican.
No shrimping.
Just jackhammering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Blow it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
surprised last week that Jim and I didn't like end up screaming and yelling at each other.
Why would we?
We had a nice conversation.
We do. We don't. Wait a minute,
What?
Ron. DJ Ron just put something in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Fattyism. Have you ever found the fattyism sneaking into your language at work?
Constantly.
I one time said 21. And we sit in these nice cubicles, and I heard somebody on the other side laugh, and I really didn't like. After they laughed, I like, okay, now should I slip into another language and cover it up?
I constantly say February at work, like emphasizing the brewery.
I'm going to slip and say computer.
Computer, I do that, but I don't really. There's no need to bring that up at work.
Yeah.
Computers.
DJ,
But,
you got your glasses.
Aeroporto is another.
We all know is Mexican for aeroporto.
Well,
Right.
Where I work because people might get offended.
Oopsies. Gavin's in HR again.
Yeah, exactly.
DJ Ron said, ask for jalapenos.
Speaking of HR, I knew this guy once at an old job who would sit on the outside aisle and he would harass the women. He would have a soft drink cup and he would wiggle the straw as they would walk by. Ear, 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 ear.
No. Is that what that means?
I would have to punch him in the throat.
We think that he was the token pedophile of the group.
Oh.
Creepy. Oh. Now I'm worn out. I shouldn't have done so much today.
No, you're fine. We'll keep it a short show.
Ah, that's all right.
Yeah.
You're gonna crawl under the desk when?
Yeah, no.
Oh. So, Gavin.
So what's everybody's plans for fall? Now that we're getting there, it's still like 80 degrees here, but
Did you go ahead?
I want to find another corn maze to go to. There's one that's only a few minutes away from our house, but it's kind of getting old. I've been there a couple of times. They do change it every year, but I'm just curious to see what the other ones are like.
Yeah.
I would imagine you have a lot of that way.
That we have a what?
A lot of them up that way.
Not really close together. There's another one on the other side of town, and that was be like 40 minutes away.
It's a big.
Oh, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, but the thing is, Gavin, up there, I mean, where there's a lot of area and a lot of farms, there's not a lot of people.
True.
We're down here. I mean, you have a farm. It's like, ooh, look, cows, hey.
Well, only a few people can get bright ideas.
Right.
Oh, how cute is that?
We should go to at least one haunted house this year, Jim.
We seem to have a problem this October, don't we?
With what? Oh, yeah, that's true. October's kind of like filled up.
Yeah, we got a
September. September's filled up.
September.
Oh no, October. You're right.
We're in September now. October's the one that comes next.
You're gone the first 2 weeks. I'm gone the second 2 weeks.
I was going to say, aside from travel plans, did you two commit to a government experiment that I don't know about?
No, that's it.
No.
I keep forgetting that. Like half of us are not going to be here.
Yeah, yeah. At all times, half of us won't be here.
Right.
I have lend a friend a hand weekend, and then Florida vacation, where I'll be lending a friend a hand, I'm sure.
Right.
And then you got parental units that need to be coddled and cooed.
Yeah.
You should put your house up on Airbnb. You could make a few bucks while neither of you is home.
Oh well, somebody's always going to be
Put my
home.
ass on Craigslist and make more money.
There's always going to be somebody here. It's just neither of us at the same time.
Yeah, I think maybe for about 10 minutes.
So we both get a month off from each other.
Yeah.
Strangers in the night.
But I'll be back on the 26th.
The stranger, the better. Oops.
So there will be I'll still do a show
From
on hold on the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Show after that will be the 4th.
What?
Oh no, 28th. I'm sorry. So the 7th and the 28th, the 14th and the 21st, there will be no show.
Oh, are you going to call DJ? Are you going to call
Turnip Chow?
General Chow? Turnip Head.
Yeah, General Chow.
Isn't that the name?
Hi, make a honey ho.
Yeah.
General, yeah. The server looked at me like I was nuts.
Oh.
Well,
I get that look all the time,
Yeah.
DJ.
Yeah, I liked your show. I liked your show tonight. Oh, you're talking about your school, going to school and stuff like that. And what made you steal the principal's Reese's Pieces?
well, I figured that I might as well get something out of this because the last time I came to his office, he wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
And my dad is a junk food junkie. He was a baker at one point in time when mom and dad were first married.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a lot of guilty pleasures that he would lay around in the house, candy dishes everywhere. And everybody knew peanut butter was his favorite because he'd have his toast in the morning, and I swear he put the peanut butter on that with a trowel. And you go to have a sip of dad's coffee, and it was like fudge because some had oozed out of the toast.
Oh my!
And he would dunk it like a donut.
Oh,
He would dunk his peanut butter sandwich in his coffee.
Yeah, his peanut butter toast and his coffee.
That sounds kind of good, actually.
well, you know what we learned fast. Well, my grandmother was one. She used to put chicory nuts in the coffee, but we put peanuts, and it would take the bitterness out. But man, sometimes you could go a little crazy on the peanuts, and it would have a nice flavor.
I've heard of this. In fact, I watched a program a while ago about the history of coffee in this country,
Mhm.
and how, after the Depression, there seemed to be some sort of a boom where people got interested in it more because it wasn't terrible percolator style coffee, that there was some sort of a tide that had turned with the machines. And apparently chicory was something that they used to use to make cheap and crappy coffee taste better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had heard that too.
Yeah, it's funny because when my grandmother would come from Brooklyn, she would bring a jar of chicory for my mother. But I don't know. Some days I like coffee, some days I don't.
I actually thought about trying some chicory, but it seems like there's a conspiracy with the coffee companies because you can't find it.
Oh.
Maybe it has another name now. I've never looked for it. It's probably a garbanzo bean.
No.
Chicory nut or a chicory grain.
Right? Like, what is it?
Peanuts are just as good.
Jim and I used to put like 2 drops, like when you make a whole pot.
Mhm.
Jim and I used to put like 2 or 3 drops of peanut oil.
Yeah.
And that would give it that little bit. Such a
Huh.
nutty flavor.
Yeah, but you know what? It would also if you remember, it would always give you that oil slick on top.
That's all right.
Yeah, I know.
That's Wednesday night.
Right, exactly.
One of the things that we have for breakfast regularly is basically steel cut oats, but I like some of the coffees that they have out at Christmas that are like cinnamon and hazelnut.
Oh.
So I put the cinnamon on our oatmeal before we actually heat it up, put the hot water into it. We just pour the hot water from the Keurig, but I put a pod of hazelnut coffee in there so that we get cinnamon hazelnut oatmeal in the morning.
Oh,
That's nice.
sounds good.
This is the only time of the year when I'll have a second cup of coffee because I can get pumpkin spice coffee.
Uh-huh.
That I love. Gavin, you're not going to believe what a chicory nut is.
What?
It's those fucking things that fall out of the tree in the backyard, not the acorns. The other
seed
ones.
pods?
What?
Is it the seed pods?
Yeah, the chicory nuts.
Those little spiky things?
Yep.
Oh my god.
No. It's the long spiky ones. Wait till you see them.
Post it in the chat room.
They might be called American chestnuts. That's what they look like to me.
Huh. So this year you'll be harvesting them and you'll have a little stand by the side of the road.
Now, the way the animals shit on everything around here.
Hey, Jim, I just found the neatest thing. I'm going to hold on. Just look at the concept of how there's no top layer
of what
on no top wood. It's just kind of floats out into you know what I mean?
All right, let's think about it.
Okay,
I'm gonna check this out.
What do you think? We're back in the circle mode.
Oh, okay.
I don't like circles within circles, though.
Oh no, I know what. Okay, no, that's not the thing that fall down in the backyard. I know what those are. All right, we don't have those.
No, Jim, you were saying that everything getting shit on. There is a variety of coffee. I don't know if you've heard of this, where they feed it to different animals, like to cats.
Right.
It's supposed to take on a special properties after the animal has shit it out.
Oh, really?
The coffee beans. There are some varieties of coffee out there that basically are what has passed through some animal's colon.
Oh no, we're not doing no.
I'll pass on that. That's all right.
That's another Green Mountain.
Yeah, right. No, I like my pumpkin spice. Lost my mouse again.
Unplug it and plug it back in. Did you plug it in the front?
Nope.
He scared it.
Oh, that must be my camera.
Probably.
That's Bill Gates sending his postcard.
All
Yeah.
right, Jim.
What the fuck is going on? Anyway. Weren't we supposed to go out and get a octopus for the computer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that last week.
Yeah. Well,
We got potato chips and corn chips instead. Priorities.
Woohoo!
No, wait. No. Not a we. That's not a we thing. You got potato chips and corn chips.
But did he share?
I did share, but
threatened to scratch me if he didn't get any.
I would scratch him with my rabid claws.
We had a server at the restaurant at the Naughty Boy camp, and he was making the rounds on Sunday to tell everybody right up front that we're out of pancakes. And of course, my husband, being the Weisenheimer, asked for pancakes when the guy came around. And he said, I'm going to touch your food, and I'm going to touch it with my infected toe.
Ew.
Oh my God, we were watching Scary Movie 3 last night.
Ew.
Have you ever watched it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, this is one guy with this like deformed hand, and he keeps touching everything with it.
Oh,
he's like, let me. He's got this deformed hand, and he's like, let me just pinch your cheeks, and they're all like screaming.
Sounds like a Dave Chappelle character.
Serving their food, and he keeps touching everything.
He mixed it with his hand.
Just made me think of that.
It was really fun though. Baron Frosty and Dr. P's neighbors were these kind of go-go boy lookalikes.
Right.
And when they went out to, they had a Halloween party for the regulars of the campground because it's getting close to the end of the season. And there was a whole bunch of them who had dressed up as flight attendants.
Oh, cute.
And they, like drag flight attendants. And they were these hot go-go boys who had just turned themselves into drag queens that were flight attendants. And when they presented the name of their group, they were Malaysian Airlines because they're always going down.
Oh.
Are they just Chris just posted a picture of or a video of Big Fatty dancing
Oh,
at the Horror Hotel.
that's terrifying. Oh.
But one of the best costumes at the party last weekend was two people had dressed up as the characters from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Right.
And the one lady was in the wheelchair, and she had the plate with the serving dish and the rat underneath it. And she kept wheeling her friend, the blonde kept wheeling her around. And I know that there are names to these people. Betty Davis was wheeling around Joan Crawford, and she was saying to her, "But you are in that wheelchair, Blanche."
Okay.
Did you see that? Have you seen the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. But you are, Blanche. You are in that wheelchair.
I felt bad for this one person that had dressed up, and they said that their costume was Pet Cemetery. They had to be the hottest person, and I don't mean sexiest, but sweatiest person in the group, because they had taken all of these stuffed animals and either hot glued or sewed them together, and they were wearing them, and so all of those animals together were Pet Cemetery.
Oh, okay. Now, were they just pants or an entire bodysuit?
He was wearing just undies, but he was like wearing the rest of it on him as a suit.
Oh, okay. Because the stuffed animals as pants was done by, I think it was Flea from what group is he with? Flea.
Oh, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hey.
So, but I think it was either him or the guy from AC/DC, but I don't think it was the guy from AC/DC.
Mm-hmm. When we got introduced, we walked out into the dance floor, and it didn't occur to me that there were things hanging from the chandeliers overhead.
Yeah.
They had streamers and whatever, but they also had little fake strings of pearls on there. And I had a woodland mohawk made as my mask. So I had all of these branches sticking up that was supposed to be my faux hair, and it got caught in the chandelier as I walked across the dance floor.
Aw. That's
It was Flea. Okay.
I don't know if it was the same band. Is Dave Navarro in Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Wasn't he
the lead singer?
I want to say so. Back when I was in high school, he was the first hot guy I remember seeing with pierced nipples, and he wanted me to have I wanted to have them right.
No. Okay. What is he? Nirvana. Oh no.
Hold on.
He wasn't. Yeah, he is with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay.
Okay.
Former member.
Yeah, he was the lead singer though. He was the.
No, he was a guitar. Yeah.
Well, he had some luscious titties for a rocker.
He's a good-looking guy.
Mm-hmm. And rumor has it he may play for both teams.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
But then again, when you're a rocker, that's most people.
Yeah, it's kind of a group effort. So
you got to keep warm on that tour bus.
Oh. Anyway. Didn't he was on a who did he marry? Because they had a they sent out. I remember their wedding Carmen Electra. Their
yes, it was,
wedding invitations were like toe tags or something.
oh God. I just remember I think she was a host on some of the MTV game shows.
Is that who she was?
Yeah, I never followed her much. I honestly couldn't pick her out out of a crowd as she stood in front of me. So
I
heard
want
the name, but
it was
you know,
MTV's first video game show, which was called Remote Control, and it was supposed to take place in this guy's parents' basement, and he had 3 Lazy Boy recliners, and if you were eliminated, your Lazy Boy disappeared into the wall, and there were screams.
I do remember that. Okay.
Yeah. I think that Carmen Electra was, kind of the Price is Right prize girl.
Oh, could
Is that what her claim to fame is?
she's she's a celebrity that's never really done anything.
Oh, all right. Because
She's one of those.
we went to a Halloween party and this one girl said she was dressed as Carmen Electra. And I was like, who's Carmen Electra?
You should have said, I'm Fifi Mohair.
if we were straight, we'd all know who she was because apparently she's supposedly hot. So
because of Gilbert Gottfried's podcast, I know that Rhonda Shear is the one who invented the bra that you see in all the checkout stands.
What the what?
There's a bra that's on the like the magazine racks and all that, and the Wally World checkout, and it's like one of those as seen on TV things, but it's called the bra. It's supposed to be really comfortable for women. And it was invented by Rhonda Shear, one of the hosts of USA Up All Night.
she is pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Opera. Oh, it's velour. Nice. I've never seen it in the checkout. I'll have to look for it.
Eyes. But it was interesting to hear about her on that show because she's one of those personality types that you would have thought had slept her way through Hollywood. But she explained that that's actually all just part of an image, that she's a very wholesome, down-to-earth person that practically knits on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Sheer?
Yeah. But she's actually an entrepreneur. She has several products, apparently.
Oh. That's good to know. Let's see what else she's done.
Gotta have something to fall back on when the looks fade.
What'd you lose now, Jim?
Malicious link. I clicked on a link for Abra.
Oh no, it's my fault.
No.
That's Rhonda Shear. She ain't looking so hot anymore, huh?
She's got nice mouth.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, how old is she? Probably
Oh, excuse me.
I would imagine she's probably in her 60s.
not everybody share.
Oh, is she? She's not an MTV host or anything?
I used to stay up late night on Friday night. I would go down to our den and I would turn the TV on and I would watch USA Up All Night. That and Cinemax were my only chances of seeing male nudity.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Cinemax. Is that still around?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't have it, but it used to be called Skinemax.
Yeah.
We got cable late.
We didn't pay for those channels, but it was back in the day when everything was analog. So if you left it on that channel long enough, eventually the scrambler gave up.
Really?
I mean, it's still around. Wow.
They showed a lot of European films, let's just say.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why when cable first came around, my mother was dead set against it. No, because she heard that they had porn on it. You know what I mean? What'd you get? You got 24 channels at that time?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe one of them at night you got porn on. I don't want no porn in my house. So we didn't get cable. We didn't get cable till we moved out in the middle of Jersey where there was no television.
You got to see The Farmer's Daughter.
Yeah.
See, it's funny because like younger people
Yeah.
don't understand. Like cable didn't exist until I was in like junior high school.
No, cable. Reading and Allentown were the first two places in the United States
Well,
that
we didn't get
had
it,
cable.
but we didn't get it until we were like
Oh, okay.
it had to be junior high school or high school.
Okay,
But
so
did
that
you
would
have the
have
box with the buttons and the switch?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it had A and B.
Mm-hmm.
It had a bunch of
Channel card.
well, it had a bunch of those little tabs that you would push down.
Mm-hmm.
really?
Yeah.
And
That
it was
was the
wired.
yeah, that was the first box. And then there was the one that it had like push buttons like I forget what they call them. It's kind of like a piece of plastic and you could feel it click,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like one smooth piece of plastic. And that was on this long, like 10-foot wire that would go across the living room.
That was the remote back then.
Yeah, that was
Right.
that was the only remote. Before that, the remote was, "Hey, Gavin." And I'd go downstairs. My mom would say, "Change the channel to the channel."
Yeah. That is so funny because my mother used to do the same thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Call us.
Your mom only did it because it pissed you off. So
What we used to do is she would call us, right? And we'd go down and she'd like put on channel 10. I'm like, fuck, and you'd put it on, right? And then maybe like an hour or 2 hours later, she'd call you or whatever. And she knew it was annoying. And she like, put on channel 6 or something for me, right? And we'd turn off the TV and go back up. Like, you bastards. Oh, she was funny that way.
oh, I know. I could see your mother doing that. I could see you guys doing that.
How many times do I call you though when I'm in bed? Gavin, come here a minute. And you come in, you're like, yeah. And I'll be like,
Turn off the light.
yeah, give me the remote. Turn off the light.
Sounds like a moment from my favorite Kirstie Alley movie called Madhouse. She has a visitor that comes to the house and slips on the way out. This lady happens to be pregnant, so she ends up having to stay there for the rest of her pregnancy as the unwanted house guest.
Oh,
And there are
Jesus.
scenes in the movie where she says things like, "Come up here and shift my butt."
Oh God. Rub my feet.
She was watching the Home Shopping Channel and she was ordering all this crazy shit. Like there was this gown that was like Middle East inspired, and she's like, "I want the wings of the night. Yes, they would go beautiful with my new nails."
Sounds like my aunt. Did I ever tell you the story about my aunt and QVC?
No.
Oh no.
Oh my God! When she went in the hospital, and
You
then wound
remember?
up when she wound up going into the nursing home,
Right.
all these unopened boxes from QVC, like she would just order stuff and just never open it.
Oh.
Like there was just stuff everywhere, and like her middle bedroom was. I'm just guessing. I'm gonna guess about 12 by 10. Like it was a pretty good sized room.
Right.
It was like 12 feet by 10 feet, and the entire floor was just covered with plastic bags from like AC Moore and
Right.
Frank's and like all these projects she wanted to eventually get into.
Uh-huh.
Like she would see a project, like something on like not the Home Shopping Network, the
No.
Do It Yourself channel.
Yeah.
She would write down a list of all the stuff that she needed because we found the list in the bags, and she would go to AC Moore and buy all the things she would need. Checked, and there it was on the floor.
Well, Aunt Eleanor was also good for going through the bargain bins at AC Moore and Michael's because she was getting the needle points, the little needle points.
Yeah.
And stocking up on them. So I guess she always had something to do, and she was always doing them.
Oh yeah.
Remember when we had to clean the house out?
Yeah.
A woman stopped by from a church where they needed crafts for she found these things. She's like, I know somebody that could use this in their church because they have things for the older people, hobbies for them. And I said, go ahead, fill 2 laundry baskets with this stuff. Take it. All right, $10. She goes, $10? I'm like, okay, 5. And she goes, 5? I said, 3.
That's when
She's like, I'll give you 10. And I'm like, just get it out of here.
my sister started yelling at you. She's like, don't give everything away. It's like, it's Sunday. It's the last day of the yard sale.
Yeah.
This stuff is not going anywhere. Like, give it away. But that is an inevitable thing that people that go to yard, and my sister knows this from being going to yard sales. I'm guessing that. But like people will, if it's a weekend, they'll wait till the end of the Sunday yard sale because they know they can get the best deals that day. So they're either there at the end of the last day or before it even opens the first day, because all the good stuff gets taken then. But people that don't mind getting the what's left over for cheap are the ones that show up on Sunday.
All agree.
My husband learned his hoarding skills from his dad.
Right.
And, this guy apparently did a lot of volunteer work for like the Red Cross and other local charities, but he lived by himself. He got divorced probably around 50, and he had his kids all grown up. So he wasn't going to have anyone living with him. And apparently his apartment was full of floor-to-ceiling shelves. Oh. And what he would do is he would go out to the thrift stores and he would stock up on basic household items to help out these underprivileged families. So when he passed away, after having gone through, I think it was pancreatic cancer, they went back to his apartment to clean the place up, and a lot of the things still had the stickers on there. So they tried taking them back to where they came from, and it was so bad that eventually the store manager said, "No more, we can't take anything."
Yeah. Well, we did that with QVC with my aunt, because if they weren't open, we could return them. So my sister, sent them back to QVC. But the things that were open, we had to put up for the yard sale. But then the other thing was, this is while she was still alive. she would go, like, they wouldn't let them choose. Like, there were 4 women in a room. Okay, it was a good sized room, and there was 4 beds, 2 on either side of and so they would always play, like, they would choose one channel and they would always play that channel. Well, so when my aunt had to go to the doctors, because if they had a doctor's appointment, the retirement home or whatever it was, that the home would take them, in a shuttle and take them to their doctor's appointment. So my aunt would go in and at QVC and turn on QVC, and she would write down the numbers
of the stuff she wanted.
And then when she got back to her room, she would call and she would order all the shit on the telephone. So my sister said that she went in and the people at the desk were like, "We have to talk to you. We can't keep accepting deliveries for your aunt from QVC." But she was getting, and it was nice things like nice shirts and stuff like that. But it was like she would see a shirt she liked and she would buy all like 4 colors.
Oh,
you can't do that every day. You're not going to wear that many clothing.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a nursing home, for God's sakes.
It kind of reminds me, a while ago, I heard a story about senior citizens falling for like contests and sweepstakes and whatever.
Yeah.
And this one particular show interviewed this lady who had like an attic full of Reader's Digest magazines back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And she was afraid of getting rid of any of them because she was sure that one of them had a winner somewhere in there.
Oh.
Yeah, Reader's Digest ran a contest all the time. Oh, did you guys when you were little, did your mom collect S&H green stamps?
Yes.
I remember For a while we did too. Yeah.
We had a whole drawer full of them, of the book. Gave
They're
them
still
out.
around. I don't know where though.
I think it's all. That's probably like online. Like what was that? What was that? The name of that book that my grandmother, Carol Richards or something like that.
William Vernon.
Is that what it was with all the neat stuff in it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one called Travel Guide too, or something like that.
Oh well, we used to get this book, this little magazine. It was like one of the thin, tall ones, and it had all this stuff you could buy in it. It was just like it was like going to an old-fashioned dime in a magazine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just oddities. You know what I mean?
And you could tear out the coupons.
Huh?
And you could tear out the coupons from the book.
Oh no,
No. This was it was like a magazine. It was a mail order catalog.
Called Carol Wright. Let me look it up.
You got Carol Wright?
Oh, that's funny. All these ladies' names. There's a magazine or catalog called Harriet Carter.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law gets this. And for the most part, it's, kind of like a Lane Bryant catalog. But every once in a while, you find something kind of suggestive in the pages. And I had to look twice when my husband passed me the catalog because, you don't think of your mother-in-law unless she's a colorful character as being somebody with needs. And they had a page with vibrators in this magazine.
That, you know what? That's funny that you should bring that up because
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we find one?
I just did. And it was Carol Wright. I was correct.
That's not the flashlight, Mom.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's funny to look at these pictures because they're all things I remember. It was just they had the neatest shit. Like it was just. I remember the one thing, and I know my grandmother had one because I found out after my grandparents passed away that they had to go look. What it was a wall socket. It looked like a wall socket, but there was a box behind it.
Yeah,
and you could pull it out of the wall and hide things in it and then put it back up. So it just looked like a wall socket.
Yeah.
And it turned out my grandparents had one because my aunt found it behind where they used to have the phone.
Uh-huh.
There were two wall sockets. And my aunt was like, why is there two wall here? And there was like this whole little wad of money in it.
Oh, geez.
Well, they were depression people. They went through the depression. So like nobody trusted banks. They were always, as they called it, stuffing the mattress, but they weren't actually stuffing the mattress.
Oh yeah. My husband's grandparents had something like that. They were Catholic. And so every room had been blessed at some point in time when they started their family or bought the house. And
Right.
there were rosaries hidden everywhere.
Hidden.
Yeah, like in little wall safes like you were talking about.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Why is it something to be afraid of?
I don't know. If you weren't raised with that tradition, you just...
Oh, wow. You look at it like it's voodoo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, where am I going to find the bag of chicken bones?
The flayed kittens. Yeah, apparently this Carol Wright is still around. You
found the vibrator page. Oh, look, there's little jelly rings and everything.
Now you know what to get him for Christmas.
Support rings. Oh wait, what's the pills? Safe for diabetic and men with high blood pressure.
Here's the website.
That nice shirt. You know,
for people listening to this later, it's Carol Wright. It's spelled CarolWright.
Yeah.
And
Carol
this
Wright.
episode will be called Jilling Off with Knitting Needles.
Yeah, right. I love the fact that they have
we're frozen.
Are you there?
I think he's frozen from the waist up.
Oh. Yeah, well. The fact that they have something.
It happens sometimes.
Oh. Looks like it's up to us. You froze, Gavin, you and your filthy mouth. Filthy shit.
The computer got intimidated by the old lady vibrator.
Yeah, right. You know how big those things are? You could probably clean my teeth with them.
You got to make up for lost time.
There you go. Oops, we lost your audio feed.
Oh.
Oh my God. Me too? Or just Gavin? Gavin, they lost the audio feed.
I told you not to feed those strays.
Yeah, I mean, it's close enough to a full show anyway.
For a Saturday in September when everyone's out at the drive-in, right?
Oh my God, the weather's beautiful here.
Mm-hmm.
No humidity.
It's about 86 out here. Actually, it's probably cooler than that because that was when the sun was still setting.
Oh, we had a mid-90s day, I think, during the day, because
Ooh.
around 86 about an hour ago. I heard when you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Our weather.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Ooh. So what are the plans for your show?
We've got about 4 or 5 episodes to ring us out to the end of the year.
Okay.
So we've got, I think, about 2 or 3 more live and a couple of recorded.
Okay.
Not quite sure what we're going to do for all of them, but you're going to have the obvious themed episodes before the year is out.
Hold on a second. He's yelling at me.
Sure.
But stream might be something else. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I have no idea what the hell he asked me.
Plug me back in.
Like, no, it's me again. Okay. Ron says we're back.
Woohoo!
I don't see Gavin, do you?
I don't either.
Oh. He's gonna come back for the last 5 minutes.
That's what we get for talking about old ladies and jilling off.
Yeah, but with knitting needles.
It reminded me of something I saw earlier today. Mark and Ed posted something about his foul-mouthed mom and saying that somebody was the C word.
Right.
And they said, she probably shoves cigarettes up it sideways.
Okay, I just want people to know that I'm back on, and if you want to see anything that you missed, you have to go to the YouTube video, and it will be there. Okay.
We did interpretive dance and finger puppets.
I'll bet you did.
We figured that computer got too hot talking about old ladies jilling off.
No, well, we were close to the end anyway.
We sent it over.
But real quick, let me do birthdays. There's only one anyway. So.
Once a year we celebrate with stupid hats and plastic plates. The fact that you were able to make another trip around the sun. And the whole clan gathers round and gifts and laughter do abound. We let out a joyful sound and sing that stupid song. Happy birthday, now you're 1 year older. Happy birthday, your life still isn't over.
Okay, we only have one, and that's Friday. It's Christina from nowhere. Christina from nowhere. Will be 29 again. No.
All right.
That's the only one, but I figured I'd get it done before we lose. You're a dick. Anyway, let's go to the after show. Jim, where can we find you?
#1 Funky Homo on Twitter.
Okay, and DJ, where can we find you?
The Faraway Nearby is at tfnpodcast.com. You could find my solo show, Surely You Jest, at syjpodcast.wordpress.com. And in the next episode of the Starboard Power Coupling, I will be guesting on their show talking about the new Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, cool.
Goody.
I'm kind of looking forward to that.
And you, Gavin?
And you can find all my applicable links at pokinit1.blogspot.com, including the after show and the YouTube video and the porn of the week. So everybody say good night. We'll go to the after show.
Good night. We're going to go to the after show.
In olden days, a glimpse of stocking was the thought of something shocking, but now God knows anything goes. Good offers too, who once knew better words, now only
That okay.
All right. After show.
Tumblr crap.
Woohoo.
So I recently stumbled on some old commercials for Eve Arden, and she was advertising Playtex bras.
Oh my.
Is this on YouTube?
Yeah, I was looking for some retro commercials for a clip I was putting together, and Eve Arden happens to be one of the, well, she got her start as a as a radio voice,
Mm-hmm.
but she was one of my dad's favorite actresses,
Right.
and I that's one of the things I've been doing lately. If I run out of podcasts to listen to, is I'll listen to some old time radio shows, and I listen to Our Miss Brooks, which she was the star of.
Right.
But it was fun because I swear I saw those commercials as a kid, and it was just in the back of my mind. I'm like, that's the Cross Your Heart lady.
Oh, I remember her.
I remember her from the Mother-in-Laws. That's it.
She had the pointiest tits.
They all did. Man.
It's called a bullet bra.
Yeah.
They all look like they could like put your eye out.
Hey, I had an aunt. She was just she had her cup must have been an H or something. It was just and they were big points, like big. She's a big woman, and she'd be like grabbing you, give you a nice big hug. You got these big boobs around your head.
Oh no!
I can't breathe.
Oh.
You from Playtex.
Oh. Gavin, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's your show.
I know. I'm trying to save the porn in the chat room.
Oh, okay. I just
Looking at the ads for the Ladies' Home Journal magazine.
Oh, nice.
from years ago.
Because that's a thing that you do, right?
I'm sitting there. I'm here. I'm watching one of those movies on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's about a cat. He's got a chromosomal.
You're looking at that right now.
What?
You're looking at that right now.
Yeah. Well, I had to see this cat with cross eyes. Similar to. I'm not.
Don't name coworkers.
The cat. No, I mean the cat. The cat has special needs.
Yeah.
So it's similar to Down syndrome. I mean, he's a cute cat though. He's playing. I mean, what else do cats do?
Right?
Shit all over the place.
I don't know. We have.
Did anybody notice that we were joined by Mr. Mike?
Are we?
Yes.
Yes.
Were we?
He's posting faster than I can save.
Here, let me. I'm gonna post the picture of the cat in the room. Copy image address.
That's not the cat they named One-Eyed Willie, right?
No, this is called Maya. Hi, Mike. Hi.
You sound like you're at Lilith Fair.
I don't even want to.
I don't even want to know. What is that?
It was a concert series
I know
back in.
what it is.
Okay.
Tell me.
The Xena yell. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
God, Jim, what the fuck is wrong with that cat?
He's got Down syndrome.
Yeah, he got something.
Stop.
Oh,
Got bagged up syndrome.
You're bad. Oh.
Oh,
we had a neighborhood cat that was in the neighbor's driveway when we were coming home a few nights ago.
Yeah.
And we were just looking at her from the neighbor's floodlight because sometimes you'll see the same cats wandering the neighborhood. And I was just wondering if my husband had seen that one. And he's sitting outside and having his cigarette, and the kitty comes up to visit him.
Right.
And it's one that he had seen before, but coincidentally, there is a breed of cat that my husband has been wanting one of for a while now. Now, granted, we already have 3 cats only because we live in the country, but he's wanting a gray tiger striped cat since he saw one in this cat food commercial a while back. And of course, the cat that's wandering our neighborhood is a gray tiger striped.
Sounds like Gus.
She's very pretty. She's got a tuft of white hair under her chin and sort of on her paws. So maybe she might be a mix of like a tuxedo cat.
Right.
But, I had to go that extra step and think about it. I said that if we ended up taking her in, because it's the fall,
Right.
and when it gets cold, you worry about animals. And I said, if we ended up taking her in, I would name her Meadow because, we live in the country. So now he's like, you did it. You gave her a name.
Yeah. We have the 2 wild cats, the 2 feral cats. We believe it's mother and son, and they're good, but they're wild, and I worry about them in the winter because they, we feed them every day. We give them a little bowl of food, and so they always come around, and they're good for keeping the critters away. That's pretty much why we do it. But what's going to happen in the winter? I worry about them.
Yeah.
Have a home, or they think this is their home. Does Gavin have to build a little doghouse for?
Well, I am worried about the female because she's older now, and
we maybe tomorrow when we're plopping around the backyard, maybe let's see if we can't get her to go into the little gray house.
Well, I put whatchamacallit in there, catnip, and she still has no interest.
Yeah, I think we need to put food in there so she'll go in.
Well, we set out food for this cat, and whenever you see a strange animal like that, you're not sure if they're sick or if they're people friendly. So
not.
Well, this kitty is a little on the skinny side. She's not gaunt or anything, but you have to wonder if she was abandoned because she's not afraid of people. She'll come up to you. And she actually jumped up in my husband's lap while he was sitting down having a cigarette.
Oh, she's probably somebody's little kitten that got away, or.
Well, we think that maybe she could have been part of a litter, and the mother might have gotten picked up because she was seen, wandering.
Right.
And maybe they didn't know that there was a litter of kittens too, because my husband combed all the lost pet ads and things to try to find one matching her look.
Right.
And couldn't find anything, so he thinks that that this kitty lost its home because either somebody moved away or the mama was given up for adoption and they didn't know about the litter.
Aww.
Yeah. So we're thinking that if we see her around, we'll keep feeding her, and then maybe once it starts getting cold, if she's still in the neighborhood, we might take her in. But the problem is we have 3 cats. They're all seniors, so they get territorial as it is when it gets close to the eating time.
Right.
I've thought about it. I've thought that maybe if we ended up giving her shelter for the winter, we could bring her in and let her live in our basement, because that's all finished. It's heated and everything.
Right.
But there could be a problem because our male cat likes to get away from the females that we have, and he begs to go into the basement.
Oh.
No, he's not aggressive at all. He grooms our females. He'll hold them down and he'll lick them.
Right.
But I just don't know how he would behave with having a strange cat in the house.
You never know.
Did you adopt all the cats at around the same time?
I didn't. My husband had him with his ex before we moved in together.
Oh, okay.
And it was a coincidence the way things happened, because when we were going to move in together, we had a hard time finding a place that would take all of our animals. Because at the time, my first year back here in New York, I had a dachshund. So not only are we looking at 2 plus cats, but also a dog. And that wasn't going to happen. Literally the night before we moved in, my 13-year-old dog decided that she wasn't going to move again. So coincidentally, now the place that we were moving to wouldn't have a problem.
Oh,
well, that's good, I guess.
I mean, they say that animals, like people, sometimes, quote unquote, know when it's time to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe that.
yeah.
But I can't imagine never having had cats to begin with. I didn't dislike them. I just didn't have pets as a kid because I had allergies. But I couldn't imagine having 2 plus cats. Now I have 3.
Yeah. I remember remember Chuck Goble?
Yeah.
He had a cat, and I never had a cat growing up. So he had a cat, and like I stayed over his house. I saw the cat, and I'm like, you want to go outside? You have to go to the bathroom. I let the cat out like it was a dog.
Uh-huh.
All right. And then, the cat didn't come to the door, didn't scratch on the door, whatever. And he came down and he's like, where's the cat? And I'm like, oh, I put the cat outside to go to the bathroom. He's like, that cat hasn't been out in 50 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. So he went and he opened the door, and the cat was just laying on the patio. He's like, get in here. The cat came back in.
It's funny, our male cat, when he used to live out further in the country, was very social, apparently. My husband tells me that when he was with his ex, the cat would make the rounds to different people's houses. Mm-hmm. And they were neighborhood children that would see him and want to play. And they would let him out at night. And he was fixed, so they weren't worried about unwanted kittens, but the cat would go over and visit people's houses.
That's some of the cat. Remember Gus? That's one of the things that we had this one cat. He was beautiful. He was a gray striped cat with the white patch.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good. He was always clean. He was well behaved. Did Gus ever come in the house?
Yes.
Yeah. He was a good cat, but I think he was somebody else's cat. And we did find out that the cat was going around to other people's houses for food and stuff. And he just disappeared one day, and we think, like he belonged to somebody and he just moved with them.
Right.
Well, that was like the other ones, Smokey.
Yeah.
I think Smokey just got moved into another neighborhood or something. She found another home because Smokey used to come right in the house.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, Lucky, she'll sit right at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You could leave the door wide open, and she will sit right outside the door.
Right.
And won't get any closer, but she will sit right outside the door.
Well, the same male cat that I've been talking about was one where, when my husband was with his ex before they moved out to the country, they were moving from this apartment complex, and we think that our cat had belonged to a neighbor. But anyways, they were getting their stuff into the moving truck, and the cat was hanging out around them, watching them. And before they took off, my husband looked over to this cat and said to him, "Do you want to come along?" He opened the door, and he just jumped right up in the truck and moved with them.
Oh, jeez. Was somebody else's cat?
They found, well, because they had seen that cat wandering the neighborhood for a while before they moved, so they think it had belonged to a senior citizen that had passed away.
Oh. Oh.
It could be. That's a thing that a lot of people do. Like nobody wants to take the animal, they just let it out.
Especially
Especially cats, not dogs, but cats, because cats will survive. As long as they're not declawed, they should be fine. But I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it, but
yeah, we don't declaw either.
well, the thing is, I mean, your options are usually either you let the cat out of the house and let it go and fend for itself, a shelter that's going to have it put down anyway.
Right.
So, especially if it's an older cat, you're not going to get, unless it's overly friendly with everybody.
And of course, what has my husband excited is that this cat that's been wandering might not be that old. So the gears are working in his head that we have senior cats and it won't be long for one of them. So, now we don't have to worry about having 4 cats if one of them goes away.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the thing is, I mean, you gotta, a lot of times with cats, they will find their own place, in the hierarchy. I almost said anarchy. Anyway, but you know what I mean. They'll find their place.
The biggest thing though is that with us having cats, it's not like they're healthy and they act normal. Just like people, when they get older, they get cranky, so they might not tolerate a younger cat as easily.
Yeah. Won't they just eventually give up?
It was creepy when my husband and I first met. One of our first dates, we were watching TV at his mom's house, and she had this older cat, just the skinniest little bag of bones you've ever seen. And he apparently used to be mean, but when he got older and skinny, he just was the loveliest little creature. And he climbed up on the back of the couch and he stood there and he just watched us like he was a voyeur.
I remember one time getting fucked in some guy's bed, and his dog sat in the corner of the room and watched. And I was like,
I could have swore Toppy. No, it wasn't Toppy. One of the Lotzel gang had a story about that. But I think I'm getting it confused with a movie I saw or something where, they're going at it and the dog came up and licked them.
Oh my God.
In a special place.
I'm not sure.
Peanut butter is a wonderful thing.
Jim. Wrong.
That's Pennsylvania Dutch porn.
Oh, yep. I'm trying to figure out. I was in a bookstore, and an Amish guy came in, and he was like laughing and giggling and looking at the giant boob women, and he was like, I mean, he walked out with 3 magazines, but he was like really into the like jumbo boobs. He's like,
Here, I thought you were going to tell me that you blew him, and when he unzipped, his bush just sprang out. There's a horseshoe in there holding it back.
I'm funny.
Get the visuals on that one.
Anyway.
What's for dinner, Jim?
Sausage.
Ah.
I cooked my sausage 5.5 hours on the grill.
Ooh.
Which is
On
way
low, super low, 250 degrees. It is the tastiest thing in the world.
There's one for you, Mr. Mike.
Not that fat. All the fat drips off.
I think I have chicken and Brussels sprouts in the fridge.
Brussels sprouts. Oh my God, this is the season of Little Debbie pumpkin. What were those things I was eating last year?
Pumpkin roll.
God.
Pumpkin roll.
The crack rolls.
Crack rolls. I'll go to Augusta. I'll buy a box. I'll eat them, and then I'm done.
I dare you to go down there wearing like an orange thong and introduce yourself as Pumpkin Spice.
Don't care.
Ain't gonna happen. God, that's a nice dick.
Right?
The redhead. Who's the redhead? I've seen a lot of porn with that kid in it.
Carrot Top?
Not for.
Which one?
Carrot Top still have that great body?
Probably the only thing he's got left.
I know. You know what? He had a great body, but too much work done on his face. I hate to say.
Would he hang out with Steven Tyler a little too much?
They look a lot alike.
You know, it was great. I watched an episode of that Who Do You Think You Are Family Tree show a little while ago.
Yeah.
And it had Liv Tyler and Steven Tyler.
Right.
And, you know, she researched her heritage and found out that they were part black going back to his greats or great-greats or whatever. But anyways, in the end, they're going to the cemetery so that he can pay respects to this Civil War veteran that was in their bloodline.
Right.
And he is dressed like a pimp, getting out of the Humvee or whatever it is and staggering around. And, you know, it's just like he is dressed more fabulous than his daughter, who's the star of that episode.
My brother just had his DNA stuff done.
Uh-huh.
And he's laughing. He's coming up Jewish.
Quarter Jewish.
We're laughing. I'm like, wow. Something we didn't know. We always knew there was a nigger in the woodpile, but we didn't know where. Never saw that one coming. We thought it was a Chinaman.
My husband's grandmother revealed that basically on her deathbed. She lived 93 or something like that. And she was playing cards and smoking up until her last day. She even accused a few people that were visiting her on her deathbed of cheating at cards.
Right.
But she's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're Jewish. We changed our names when we came over.
Well, that's funny. That's actually not unusual. Because my family, our last name, there's like 3 different spellings because there were 3 brothers coming over on the boat, and they had a falling out, the 3 of them, and all 3 of them were mad, so they didn't like communicate. I don't know if you know anything about like when people were coming through
immigration,
the Statue of Liberty,
and
that a lot of times if they didn't know how to spell the name, they just wrote it. You know what I mean? Because the people didn't know English, so it's not like they could correct them. So they would just write out. Well, apparently there's 3 different spellings of the 3 boys. All 3 got different spellings.
Yeah.
So like there's a whole tooth of my bloodline that I don't even know because we don't know how they were spelled.
Yeah, I found that in census records too, because until the 40s, there wasn't a dedicated census bureau. So the people who did the tests didn't have to pass a literacy exam. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's how we got that spelling.
Oh,
But I have some German heritage on my dad's side of the family, but it goes so far back, it's before the turn of the century. So, I just have to wonder, it's like, well, how would I find out if this family was Jewish? They were here before the 1900s.
yeah. Well, before the turn of the century, I mean, like it was not unusual for people in my grandparents, prior to my grandparents, not even being literate. Like they like,
Yeah, it wasn't unusual for people not to know how to read.
yeah, it was not an oddity.
Oh,
at
yeah.
that time. No.
You have a census taker that didn't have to pass a test, and then you have my ancestor who was an immigrant as it was. So when he comes to the door and says, are you the lady of the house? She doesn't know how to fucking spell her name.
Yeah, right.
Or, her husband's name anyway.
And a lot of, I mean, I know that there were a lot of men that like to keep their women
Stupid.
uneducated.
Yeah,
Don't-
barefoot
they're not
pregnant.
stupid because apparently they survived. So, but uneducated, so that they could just, they didn't see a reason why they needed to leave the house.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
I had a little bit of excitement last weekend when I went to a cemetery, and it was for one of my ancestors who was the first generation of my dad's family born in America.
Right.
So I felt like I was getting close to answers in the great mystery, because her dad was the man who came over from Ireland. I can't freaking find where her mom and dad are buried to save my life. It's a bunch of little country towns, and I've looked through all of them, and the siblings in that family are each buried in a different cemetery. So I figure, okay, maybe mom and dad are buried with their daughter and the in-laws. Nope. But anyways, it was kind of cool because I found a headstone for that ancestor and the family she married into, and it was from like 1910 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's 107 years old, it looked brand new.
yeah,
That's around the time that gravestone technology started. They started shellacking them and polishing them. So,
Oh yeah.
did you question to you guys? Well, Jim, your grandmother was in Brooklyn, so she may not have. But did any of your grandmothers know how to drive?
No.
Neither of my grandmothers knew how to drive. Never did. Up to the dying day. Yeah.
You know what? I don't.
Well, considering she was from Brooklyn, I mean, most people in Brooklyn have
Didn't
cars.
have to drive. Yeah.
Like they didn't have cars. It was odd, but it was always the men always had driver's license. Maybe not a car, but a driver's license.
Oh yeah, because they borrow a buddy's truck or
Yeah. My mother didn't learn to. My mother
didn't need it.
My mother didn't learn to drive until they moved out of Brooklyn and they were down in Pine Hill, and that
Right.
was like just to go to the store. You need, to get milk or something, you had to learn how to drive. And it was funny because when she learned how to drive, I was, at that crawling stage, and they had a station wagon, and this was before baby seats, and they would put me in the way back. And my mother learning to drive, I'd be flying. I remember like around the back of the car.
Again.
Was your nickname Lumpy as a kid?
Well,
Did you?
I know there's a lot of people that live in Philadelphia right now that don't know how to drive.
They usually wait in the cities. There's no need.
Yeah.
Of course, now with the
Right
car share thing, a lot of people,
Yeah, more.
Right.
yeah.
Did you have a car seat growing up, Gavin?
No,
No.
I don't think they even existed when I was a kid.
I think they used those, the things that you would put on the kitchen table.
Oh, the high chair thing?
No,
No.
not a high chair. It was like a
booster seat.
no. It was more like it looked like a basket from Woolworths.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
one of the type things that you would
Bassinet.
sit in. Yeah,
Yes.
Like maybe that would go on the seat. I don't remember.
Kind of remember, not me, but I kind of remember my little sister having, like a booster seat like they have at the grocery store. I mean, at the restaurants, like something like that, and they would put the seatbelt over. But of course, we didn't use seatbelts.
Yeah.
Nobody used a seatbelt when I was,
You
and
know,
we all survived. How is that possible?
I remember my grandparents had one of those great old suburban vans, the precursor to the SUVs.
A
And
truck cart?
yeah, and we went to go visit my aunt one time, and it was something like she had just moved or something. We're going to her place for the first time. Anyways, we're driving in this trailer park, trying to find her place, and my grandparents didn't want to fuss with, the putting the seatbelts on the grandkids, so the seatbelts were all tucked down in.
Right.
Yeah.
I sat up front on the bench seat with my grandparents, and I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old or whatever. And I just remember that we passed my aunt's driveway, and my grandmother said, "Fred, that's it." He slams on the brakes, and my head hits the windshield.
Survived though, didn't you?
Yeah, the next thing I know, I'm recovering on my aunt's couch, and I was given as a consolation prize a bag of Swedish fish.
Oh, nice. It's funny because I remember even when we were little going, it was like everybody on the block. There was probably about 4 or 5 families with kids. We were going to like a little reservoir where we used to go, like a beach, have a picnic, and all the kids piled into a pickup truck. Like there had to have been, I don't know, maybe 15 kids in the back of the pickup truck. And I just remember the guy pulling over at one point saying, "Sit down and shut up," But I guess safety laws have come a long way.
Yeah, my brother was thrown from the back of a pickup truck. He was going to, and his friend that was driving the pickup truck decided to take a shortcut in a country road. Before they knew it, the truck had flipped over, and my brother had landed in the ditch with a broken leg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they have safety rules now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think I'm ready for bed.
Are you? Yeah, I'm kind of conking out too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play my PlayStation. I got it on Wednesday finally.
Oh, good.
Oh, did you get the new one?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the new-ish one. They call it the Pro, and it's just supposed to be, a little bit better picture. Inevitably, anytime I buy something, within a year they make a better one. But
well, that's everything.
Yeah. But I waited like 2 years before I decided to get this one, and I used to be a Nintendo fanboy, but they just lost me because the latest system that came out, the Switch, it doesn't even have internet. It's like all the other gaming consoles that are out there, you can use Netflix and Hulu and all that because they want you to be able to use it instead when you drop your cable.
Yeah.
And it's like the price of the Nintendo Switch is within $20 of a PlayStation 4. What's the sense?
Yeah. I think it's a neat idea that you can take it like with you, but whatever. Like, I'm not a person that like I'm not into that. You know what I mean? Like I still have a game. What do I have now, Jim?
Gavin, the white thing with the green trim that we got from your aunt.
Yeah,
we used to enjoy that.
The coupon box?
No. What is that?
A Wii.
Oh, the Wii.
Okay, yeah, I have that. I have a Wii U also. I
don't have a Wii U. I have a Wii.
Yeah.
What can you play games like that, or is it just?
Well, you can't leave the house with it.
Can you leave the house with your game thing?
Not with a PlayStation. No, it's meant for being in your living room.
I'm still on Atari, baby.
They have a system coming out. Actually, there's a lot of hush about it, but if you go to Atari's website, They have a new system coming out that they just call the Atari box. It looks a little bit retro, but it has a lot under the hood for something that's just supposed to be an innocent retro gaming system. It has Wi-Fi, and it has some sort of a high-end processor. So people are quietly saying that they're making a game system to get back in the market.
Oh, well, good. Gavin, what was the thing that you had? Remember when we first got together?
Oh, the Super Nintendo.
Is that what that was, or was it Atari?
No, it was Super Nintendo.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was like the second generation Nintendo.
That's how I ruined Christmas one year.
How?
I wanted a Super Nintendo so badly, and I didn't understand that my parents, who had 4 kids, couldn't afford it.
Right.
And I was convinced that the one present that was left under the tree was a Super Nintendo. I went to go open it, and it was a board game.
It was underwear.
It was a board game. And I remembered that earlier in the holidays, Mom and Dad had planted questions. They tried to figure out if I'd like a certain something.
Oh.
And they asked me what I would think about getting a desk. And, the 12 or 13-year-old I was at the time was like, no, that's lame. I don't want a desk. And it didn't occur to me that my dad, who had dropped out of school to go to work and support his family, was trying to show his love by getting his son a desk for high school.
Oh.
And so I asked about the desk after I realized that last gift wasn't a Super Nintendo. I knew I screwed up because I was told, oh, yeah, you can use it while you're living here, but it's not yours.
Oh.
Is Gavin frozen? Oh, no, he isn't.
No, I'm still good.
No, that's the way he always looks.
No, I'm just tired.
It's the palsy.
All right. Are we going to call it a night?
Yeah, let's say good night.
Okay.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo, DJ.
Nighty.
All right,
Gavin.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a lovely week.
All righty. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.